You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Miley Cyrus, of course, is a very recognizable person, so we decided to have some fun with that today by making her unrecognizable. We disguised Miley as an Australian woman, a reporter, and we sent her out on the street to ask people what they think about Miley Cyrus, which could very well turn out to be uncomfortable, and, well, maybe it will be. Let's find out. Here it is, Miley Cyrus in disguise. It's time for Eyewitness News.
All right, everyone, Janet here with, what's your name? Coral, here from California. Do you know anything about what's going on here in LA this weekend? The VMAs, Video Music Awards, are coming up, MTV VMAs?
Well, I've heard about the VMAs, but I didn't really know that they were going to come here this week.
They are. Have you heard about who's hosting this year? They've got Miley Cyrus as the host.
That's cool, I guess.
All right.
Like her.
If you like her. Do you like her? What's your opinion?
No, she's not one of my favorite.
Now, what do you not like about Miley? Is it that her shocking kind of, it's, all kind of cheap to me, really?
Really her style.
What's
and her
what do you
dad.
like about her? You don't love her dad?
I just don't like her whole family.
Oh, really? Do you have any opinions on her, or maybe what you think about her?
Well, Miley Cyrus, when I knew her, she was only a child.
Most of us. I mean, all of America. That's how we got to know and love her.
Yeah, because what is her father's name again? He's the one I was crazy about.
What's Miley's father's name? What would you say if Miley Cyrus was your daughter? Do you have kids, or if they were acting like Miley Cyrus, would you have any thoughts?
No problem. I just like Taylor Swift better.
What would you say about Miley's music? Would you say it's just kind of too...
Never heard it.
Never heard it. All right. I actually heard that she is going to be hosting the show nude. What do you think about that?
I would love to see that.
Oh, you would?
You kind of look like her, actually.
That's actually why they hired me. They flew me in from Perth, and I'm here right now. I'm kind of freaking out that I'm on Hollywood Boulevard. Do you think Billy Ray, that's his name, finally came back to me. Billy Ray, do you think he raised her to be that way, or you think she just kind of lost her mind in all the Hollywood madness?
Well, I think she lost her mind in the Hollywood madness.
You've got two daughters, you said.
Yeah.
If Miley was one of your daughters, I mean, would you let her out there dressing the way she is, shaking her ass all over the place? I mean, what do you think about all that?
Can I say hell no?
Hell no, absolutely.
I think she's starving for attention, and that's why she's doing it all crazy like that.
It's exactly... You took the words
She's missing
right
something somewhere.
In her heart, probably, in her deep soul. I know this is a big ask of you girls, but could you maybe sing a little bit of the song for us? I mean, I'll sing it with you.
We can't stop.
We won't stop.
You guys can dance like Miley Cyrus, I bet. Can we get a little, come on, I'll do it with you.
No, you can.
Come on, I'll do it with you. Ready? All right.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go. Oh, yeah. We just can look into our camera and just kind of give her some advice, and also America that kind of follows that lead.
Well, the whole fabric of America's falling apart, and she's not doing anything to try to keep it together.
Absolutely.
I think you're Miley Cyrus right now.
What would Janet say about that? You want to check that out? You know how I can prove it? Does that look like Miley Cyrus? Looks like Miley Cyrus. I need you to keep that on the DL, but it's Miley Cyrus's titties. Janet up here, Miley down there.
Miley downstairs.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, a strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who, disguised as Walter Interanti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Good morning, everyone. It's iWalter on September 1st. A new month already. Yeah, September 1st, 2015, and it's Tuesday. Tuesday morning at 3:17. I wasn't going to do a show, but I decided to try to, make an attempt. There was other things I actually wanted to do tonight. But, yeah, what I started out with, because I actually do like Miley Cyrus still. I honestly just don't like her, what do you call it? I just don't like her new music and her new look. That's pretty much almost saying that you don't like her at all. Well, that's not true, honestly. She was in some costume, and she was supposed to obviously put on a fake Australian accent. I thought she did a good job. And it just kind of reminded me of how much I really do like Miley Cyrus. But I just don't like her new... I'm hoping, like this one guy even said he has like daughters that age. I honestly would like to see her kind of go back to the way she was. You know, hey, everybody, like, you know, you go through that phase. I went through that phase when I was a kid, or like in my 20s, my early 20s. I can't blame her for experimenting. It's just, I think she had taken a little bit too far. Because I know, honestly, when I was even trying to quote unquote find myself, the last thing I did was do drugs and stuff like that. Or, you know, it's too easy. That basically, because everybody thinks they're being different by getting tattoos or drinking or doing drugs. It's like, yeah, but you know what? Everyone else is doing exactly the same thing. So how's it any different when you're doing exactly what everybody else does? I honestly, feel that being more different or trying to do something different is doing something different, not doing what everybody else decides to do. But, that's me. But I watch that. There's once in a while she surprises me. And honestly, I just hope that, she's not too far gone. I still have some hope. Like, you know what? It was funny years ago. I always had this dream, not years ago, but a while back. I was like, yeah, to me, she seemed so cool. It was like, that would be so, cool, not even just to meet, do a meet and greet, which sure got awful expensive with her. But it would be really awesome just to if you had your dream come true, it would be just to hang out with her. Most people say, oh, you're probably just thinking of her in a sexual way. No, actually I didn't, because I was thinking about this tonight before I came on. And I remember being a kid, and we first moved in the house that I still live in for many of years with my parents. I was out for a while and I came back home. But, I was still really young, and I remember I had it's not much different now. But I literally had no friends, and then the next door neighbor though was this girl, and we were both less than the age of 10. We were probably 7 or something. I don't know. So I would hang out with her, and it was it was really cool because it was the only friend I had around here in the development. So I actually liked hanging out with her. I remember the one time we were just being kids because, we were young. And then she started to almost make a pass at me. I was like, what are you doing? It really freaked me out. So, but I don't know why I brought that up, honestly. But it's just, the point is, everybody thinks that something has to be sexual. And it's yeah, you know what? No offense. No, it doesn't have to be. That was, I guess, my point. And I hate when people just automatically go to the gutter with their ideas, and the reason I'm bringing that up again is I thought she seems like a cool person to hang out with. I remember I told a story a million times to friends, this story that when I was younger, I was actually in my 20s then. But I was living in this place. I was in this place called Project Transition again. I mentioned this a million times before. And it was basically an aftercare program, very expensive, was private. Down in Horsham, it was affiliated at the time, and then it became their own thing from Horsham Clinic. And there was this one girl. She was actually, she said she wasn't, anybody I was interested in, but she said, oh, I'm a lesbian too. And I remember I miss her so much. I don't know if I mentioned her name, so if I did, I apologize when I mention again. Her name's Cindy. And I really used to enjoy hanging around Cindy because, like, she was like my best female friend, personally. And I really, really liked her. And we would hang out. We actually, down at the good old days, we actually hung out down in New Hope. We used to go down there. And at one point, I had like this girlfriend, and Cindy would like kind of tag along and stuff because we were friends. And she would tell me stuff that this girl wouldn't, a girl would say to another girl, like, oh yeah, well, basically, oh, she's not, Cindy would tell me, oh, the girl you're dating, she's not interested anymore. She actually found somebody else. Which the girl would just, obviously she would say, yeah, I'm not ready for a relationship. So it was cool because you had the inside scoop, and I trusted Cindy more than I trusted this girl I was dating at the time. And I hate to say it, but it was the truth. But anyway, what was I going to say? But she was a good friend, but the best thing we did together was we used to go down, hang out down in South Street, me and Cindy. We just go like hang out there. It was like, it was really cool because I wasn't driving. I think obviously it would have to be her driving. And I think we did it a couple times, and maybe it wasn't even that much. But I still remember it was like, that's like, to me, that was like my best memories. And we would go down to South Street. We would walk around. We both had like these bladder problems. Like we always had to take a piss all the time. So, but we actually, when we were down South Street, there was this place. I still remember this. It's no longer there, I don't think. This place called. I'm trying to look for stories, by the way, too. I want to say Robert Hall. There is a place called Robert Hall. It doesn't exist anymore. Crash Brothers. That's it. It was called Crash Brothers. It was actually on South Street. It was called Crash Brothers Store of the Stars. And we went down there, and we were around the Crash Brothers place. And we both had to take a piss. And she would say every time we would have to piss, she said, you stand and I'll squat. And it was like, what? And it was the funniest thing I've ever heard, though, that, we both had to pee. So she had to, like, basically pull her pants down and squat. And I had to, she said, you can piss standing up. And, I mean, it sounds really goofy, but I just had a blast with Cindy, and I really miss her. I wish I knew what happened to her. I don't even remember her last name. There's certain people I remember back then in these places like Horsham Clinic and other places. I really miss these people because, they not only, it was beyond just, okay, these people had problems like me. No, they were really cool. And I had fun with them. I mean, what was wrong with that? And these are like people that were really, that I actually miss. I remember there was another girl. There was a couple girls I remember in different places I was at. Like this one girl, couple girls that I was at this place called Fairmont Institute years ago. And some of the girls were like really cool. Like one girl's name was Colleen. I remember her. She was really cool. There was other ones too. Like they just seemed like, okay, if I would actually meet a girl that, back even then that I would want to date, it would be some of these girls because they were just, didn't matter what they looked like, honestly. They were just like really freaking awesome. I mean, like they were real cool. They just had the energy, and it was just fun hanging around them. They made you feel like, hey, this is cool. Like a real friend as well, basically. But there was one I was thinking of. Oh, there's this one girl. She had a lot of problems. I told a friend, and I always wonder what happened to her. She wasn't very attractive, but I told a friend she had a heart of gold. Her name was Cammy, not Tammy. It was like Cammy. And I really miss her, too, because she was a sweetheart. And I'd love to know what happened to her, though, too. Because Cammy was like, she had like both her parents were like they found out later on after having her, which did not help her situation, that they were both gay. At least the dad was. And I felt really bad because she had a lot of problems, just like she had no family. Like both her father was a mess, her mom was a mess, and she had nobody to turn to, and it really had taken a toll on her. And I felt really, really bad, but I actually liked her, and I found more of an interest in her simply because she was like a real person. She wasn't some like fake. And trust me, you looked at her, she was very beyond like below, if you're going to go by looks, she was below plain Jane. She was almost, I don't even want to say that, but she was kind of almost like a homely looking person. She was losing her hair because she was like out of stress, I guess. And, but the fact that she had such a great personality, that just like leaned out of everything else. She could have lost all her hair and I could have cared less because she was just like a sweetheart. But you know what? Nowadays, I really can't say I know. I couldn't even count them on one hand. Of people that I can say that I could actually respect that much. But yeah, she was really nice. There were some girls that were really cool. They, a lot of them obviously were in these outpatient facilities because they had problems. But at the same time, they were really, really cool. And, most of my experiences of being around girls as friends or in relationships were these girls that I met, like, basically when I was down in Horsham. And for the most part, again, they were real people. And you know what? I hated being down there at the time. But at the same time, you know what? I hated it at the time, but now when I look back, I actually miss those times as well. I have to send something to a friend at work. Sure like this. But yeah, if I could reverse the time, there's certain parts of my life that I would love to, if I could live over certain times, I could pick them out. It would only be a handful, but they would be really cool too. One would be like when I was a kid and I would do photography with my father. Like he got me into photography actually. Another time is when I used to build, I was really good at it. I can't say I'm in anymore. But in our garage, I actually built a little shop, and I was building all these model rockets. They were called, Estes. And I think Alpa was the other brand, Alpa. Not, I think it was called Alpa. I'm going to have to look that up now, because now I'm kind of curious. It was something like that. I think it's still the company's around. Alpha. I think it's Alpha Rockets, yeah. I think that was it, because there is an Alpha rocket, but that's by Estes. But yeah, I actually made one called the Bigfoot. I'm trying to look at what the other one was. But yeah, the one company that made the rockets were really hard to make. So you actually stuck with, but that was a good time in my life, was the SD rockets, because they actually made really complex ones, which I did kind of get into doing those, because I actually made the Klingon ship as one. It actually shot really cool. I made an R2-D2. It was a lot bigger, because I tried to rebuy the R2-D2 one, and it's really small compared to the one I had. But I actually tried to make the TIE fighter from Star Wars, and that one was really hard. I think I might have done it at one point, but then when you build them, it's you know what? I put all this effort in there. I don't want to lose it. So, the ones you would spend the most time with, because I see it right now, was the Mini Mosquito. That was easy to build. I built the one called Bigfoot, I think it was called. That was 10 feet. But they had really cool rockets though. And look at them now. I'd love to do that again. I don't know why I don't. But You know what? It's also part of the reason is I just don't have the patience I did back when I was a kid. You know, basically cutting the balsa wood, putting together. I mean, I really got into it. It was fun. I remember it was funny because I was in high school at Methacton. Or actually, it was middle school. Maybe it wasn't Methacton, but it was either Methacton Middle School, or no, there was Arcola, I think, actually, too, that I went to. It was something like that. Maybe it was Arcola. And I remember my science teacher actually, they stopped the program, but they actually had a thing in science lab at middle school that you actually would build rockets. That was your science class. And they didn't use them anymore, so he had like a drawer full. I remember this. Even back then, it was like, well, they didn't do it anymore. I guess they found it too dangerous. I don't know. That he like said, well, if you want these, they're mostly broken from shooting them off so many times. You can have them and try to work on them, or you can just have them. So he gave them to me, and I was like a little kid, you know, obviously. And I would like take them, and I fixed a lot of them up. You know, I actually kind of took parts from one and made it, you know, glued it to another one. You could like do a lot. Like you could be very creative, and it actually definitely made you think. But yeah, that would be another time. Another one would be kind of a little obvious. Would be like when I was a kid and I first got into Doctor Who and going to those Doctor Who conventions, because those were really fun. I remember the one time I mentioned this, like one of my earlier shows when I first started doing these podcasts. We actually went to this girl's house. It was like a get-together for fans, and we just sat at her house and we basically watched Doctor Who on the TV, but then we ended up talking about everything else. That'd be another one of those times I really, really miss. I'm trying to think if there was, you know, there is probably other times too. Yeah, I mean, that would be one. And again, the girls that I knew from back, I wish I would know what happened to them. Because I actually missed those guys, the women, but, you know, they were like real friends, the female friends. I missed that, actually. When you had a friend that was a girl that actually you didn't think of most of the time sexually, but they were just like really cool. I had that a little bit in college, but not to the same extent I had when I was growing up. So anyway, I just, you know, had to reminisce about that a little bit. I still haven't found any stories, obviously, either, because I was kind of like doing other things. It was funny. I actually had to buy these because I missed that. It's another one of these, you know, I'm spending all my money on reminiscing about the past, because I know a friend kind of made that apparent to me that, yeah, you're spending all your money just reminiscing and trying to relive the past. Well, you know what? I hate to say it, but I think a lot of people, I'm not the only one who does that. You know, and there's no harm in that. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, why is there any harm in that? But yeah, I ended up, they were like $15. I bought them because I wanted to see the original versions of Star Wars, the unedited ones. And honestly, I'll tell you right now, because I'm watching the second one now, the ones on the VHS tape, it was kind of cool, but then I was like looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, these were pretty, you know, at least the first one is not the way I remember being a little kid growing up, seeing in the movie theater. And it definitely wasn't the same when I watched it like 32 times when we first got cable and it was on our cable box. And they said, okay, I looked at the listings, and I swear that every time it was on, I made sure I was there to watch it. So I literally, like it said, okay, this month on, I'm going to guess it was HBO or something like that. Star Wars will be on like 32 times. Well, guess what? I watched it every single time, like all 32 times. So, yeah, I mean, that was fun too. I mean, you can't tell me then, well, you waste a lot of time and you shouldn't be doing something. I mean, you're talking about like a 12-year-old. Come on. You got to give me some part of a break. What do kids do? They watch movies and TV, or back then we actually went out and played too. But yeah, again, that's another thing that was, growing up, I enjoyed that. So, yeah, I'm trying to think what else. But yeah, anyway, the reason I was mentioning about Star Wars, I kind of wanted to watch that again. The original cut that I saw in the movie theaters years ago, the original one that I saw on cable years ago. So, yeah, I was actually able to do that, and it was I was watching it last night, and it's funny because I actually bought really cheap. I bought a VCR because it's a shame because I got rid of all my VCR tapes too now, and now I kind of regret it because they were all these Doctor Who's that now I think I sold them or just gave them away. I can't remember now. I don't have them anymore though. And now I really miss those. Yeah, I mean, because you're talking Doctor Who, so those things, you're not going to make it much better. They really don't do much to improve upon them. But anyway, it was okay, I got those. And I mainly got the VCR because it was I got, last year, I had bought, at a record convention, I bought this thing for a friend, which was Doctor Who VHS tape with a poster. And I think I just bought the VHS tape just for nostalgic reasons of Howard Stern. I don't know if I mentioned that. It was Howard Stern. And, yeah, and it was okay. But now I'm not going to really have any way to play it. So now I finally, I figured, you know what? I want to get the other tapes, but I really do want to see these. Because I remember me and my friend Matt, this was years ago, because I was the only one who had cable. He would pay me money, and we would get the specials too of the Howard Stern Miss America pageant. I think we bought at least 2 of them, and that was one of them. And it was just that would be something cool to watch again. I mean, they were $3 for the freaking what do you call it, for those things. So yeah, I really wanted to watch those again. And it was so I got this VCR player, and I actually made out really well. It was one of these buy now things. And it was $50, which it's used, but it was actually a really good deal. And it was okay. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, I was watching this stuff, and it was yeah, these are pretty funny. And they actually look good because why I got a good deal on it, not only was it in a really good shape, it was one of these, again, it was one of these limited edition deals, but there was only so many made, and of this VCR, and it had 6 heads, and it was a Sony VCR. It was a consumer grade one, but it had actually 6 heads, not your conventional, you either had 2 heads or 4 heads, which was really good. No, this had 6. And it was wow, that's really cool. I didn't know that. And I got it, and basically what it does improve the video. Not a lot, but just enough that it looks really pretty decent. You're talking 380 or something. The resolution is really down there on VHS tapes. So, yeah, I was really happy about that fact. So anyway, the Howard Stern looks good because, there's only so much you can do. But I put the Star Wars in there, and it was funny because it tried to, the VCR that I got, the Sony one, and also my TV does it. I didn't change the settings for the input for the VCR, tries to upscale the video. So the problem with that is, though, it may, because not with the Howard Stern, that's no big deal, but it actually tried to upscale the video for, I don't know if I mentioned this, for Star Wars. So now I'm watching Star Wars, the first episode, and it surprised me, by the way, because it did say New Hope, which I was hoping it would not say. So I was a little bit disappointed in that, because I want to see one that I heard it's out there somewhere, but it goes back pretty far where Lucas made sure it said A New Hope on on the Star Wars, because he claims he wanted that from the get-go, which I didn't believe it. I don't believe it almost still. So, I've been trying to look for a copy of that, and I got this one on eBay. It was all 3 of the original episodes for $15. And I was like, okay, either it's going to be the original copies, or it's going to be the edited ones where, he starts changing things. Well, the only thing he really changed in this release, I think it was by CBS, was he changed it to A New Hope in the beginning. But otherwise, it is the theatrical release otherwise. So I'm watching Star Wars last night. And again, the part that was actually the worst part is it tried to upscale the video. And by doing so, though, it made it look like a bad TV show. So it kind of really had taken away, that whole nostalgic Star Wars thing. Because I'm trying to watch this, but it looks like a horrendous made-for-TV movie. And it was because it actually made R2-D2 look like he was being on television. Now, most people would say, well, that's really cool, because if it cleared it up that much from an old thing, from an old tape, the tape was actually in really good condition too. I honestly, I didn't want it to clear it up that much. So, so it actually kind of had taken away, from that whole thing. So, but Star Wars is the one that I honestly would like to see in its original thing. Now, one thing I will say, when I was watching Star Wars on the VHS tape, which was the original version, was that back when you're a kid and when you're when you've seen in the movie, you see this movie, and I'm obviously for that time period, like Jaws would be another one. I mean, that was state of the art back in these movies. But then you look at it now, and it's okay, it really was basic. Now, with my understanding, I think that he came up with, Lucas, he made American Graffiti, I think, first, if I'm correct. And he actually made American Graffiti, which actually a lot of those characters went on, because I think American Graffiti is, my opinion, they said it was actually from a skit from a TV show, Love American Style, that Happy Days came out of. But honestly, if you actually seen the movie American Graffiti, I would say it actually came out of Lucas's, in my opinion, it seemed like it came out of, because the Fonz and everything, the character of the Fonz, that came out of that movie, and as far as I'm concerned, of American Graffiti. But anyway, the point is, it was American Graffiti gave him the money to make Star Wars. So that's what I understand. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time again. I've said this before. But that's what I thought I heard. So, that being said, though, I mean, what was I really went off astray. But I just really kind of, wanted to just relive that part at least, because I have nothing else, say something that, that's not right. You can't do that. You're spending too much money. Well, you know what? It was a very happy time. So, I'm not even kidding. I saw the movie 32 times on cable back in the day. So I'm not making that up. Well, it was something like that. It was a lot. So, if you're going to take that, my only shred of happiness away, what else is left? What was I going to say? But when I was watching it again, it was just God, this movie really is very basic. Just didn't realize how much. Very simple. I mean, the shots, the edits were really, really, really kind of gritty and raw. So, Yeah, so anyway, what I was going to say was tonight I started watching. I'm not going to have time, obviously, because I try to like fit in some time to do this show. I started watching Empire Strikes Back. And the thing about that, Empire Strikes Back, honestly, even, which is my favorite, I think if I had to pick one, Empire Strikes Back would be the one I would say, okay, this one I like the most out of all three of them. So there's always that thing, okay, what's your favorite out of the first three movies? Well, Empire Strikes Back. Because that one actually started out, they looked a little bit more mature, all the characters. They started off like with those, I couldn't remember the name the other day, I called them AT-ATs. They're actually called Empire Walkers. The Imperial Walkers. That was those things on that planet. Those were cool. That was on that snow planet. There's some other cool stuff too. I think Cloud City was in that one too, if I remember correctly. And then you had that like cliffhanger that really pissed everybody off, but it was like, you know what? This is perfect though. Is when at the very end where what do you call it? Han Solo gets like put in that block of ice. I mean, that really pissed people off though. But at the same time, you couldn't do it any better because it reminded you of like movies back, before my time. But like those movies you grow up with where, I'm trying to think like, again, this was before my time, like Flash Gordon, where they would show movies on a weekly basis. But of course, you had to wait like 3 years. But, back then, like Flash Gordon, again, was on a weekly basis. Like they would leave a cliffhanger that would make you want to go back to the Nickel Theater or whatever it was at that time, movie theater, and have to, have to see what happens to Flash Gordon. But this was with Han Solo, and it was like this was really, and then you find out that Darth Vader is his father. That just like a lot of people. It was like I remember like back then, it was like you didn't want to say anything to anybody, but we find out that Darth Vader is his father. What do you call it? Luke Skywalker's. And there was so much. I mean, that was like really cool. But those, anyway, having those extra edits, kind of touching things up. There was like some parts, even in the beginning of the movie, that, you really actually did improve upon it. It really, really did. The second and third one, it did kind of need a little bit of a touch up. But the first one, I mean, that was the one who started this whole thing of these movies, no longer a trilogy. And, honestly, I'd rather see it in its original format. I didn't kind of like some of the stuff they had added. I'm trying to think. But I don't know. I mean, it was just... Sorry, I got all this Patty Duke stuff on my Facebook page. She's going to love me for it, but I don't think I like it. I just got obsessed. All right, well, I get obsessed about everything. I just kind of want to see like what I like first went to the movie theaters to go see. And I remember, I think I mentioned this before, but I actually went and seen the second movie. My brother, my oldest brother, actually had taken me to see Empire Strikes Back. And it was like, I was just left with like blue balls after leaving the movie theater. I was like, what? You're leaving it off? You don't know, you have to wait till the next movie now? Which he obviously made it clear there was going to be another movie. So, and that's what came out, though, by the way. There was articles. Oh, yeah, he was actually going to make, that was actually episode 4 of Star Wars. That's what that all came out. There was actually 3 episodes before, and there was supposed to be 3 episodes afterwards. That's when he first, made it publicly announced, I think, was after Empire Strikes Back, if I remember correctly. So anyway, I just had to do that. If I have time, I'll probably watch a little bit more of Empire Strikes Back. Anyway, on some news, I'm looking at something. I dug something up. It's Times Herald Education, and it says Springford Area School Board calls for fewer standardized tests. So that already I kind of just don't like. Reuters for it, joining growing numbers of districts in the area. The Springford Area School Board sent a message to Harrisburg recently calling for fewer standardized tests. There's got to be a reason for that. I don't like it already. In a 5-3 decision, the board approved a resolution last Monday calling for lawmakers to minimize the amount of mandated testing and used a standardized testing for teachers in school evaluation. Board President Mark Deinhardt, along with the board members Willard Cromley and Clinton Jackson, dissented. Board members Todd Wolf was absent. It states, quote unquote, this is one of the mechanisms the school board have, said Vice President Tom DiPolito, to send a unified voice to Harrisburg. I don't understand that, though, but they want to call for fewer standardized tests. Again, that's just a way of pushing kids through the school system, I would think. Yeah, it was the same thing. I actually put up twice the one on, on that standardized test. I didn't even know I did that. So I really obviously don't have much. I actually wanted to make it more personal tonight. I haven't done that in quite a while. And I got started because I saw that thing with Miley Cyrus and kind of like broke my heart. But, oh, wow, this looks pretty interesting. Maybe I'll read this, folks, to you. DorneyPark.com. This looks pretty cool because Halloween's right around the corner now. Halloween Hunt actor auditions. Once again, it's time. It's this time of year that Halloween Hunt recruiting team is holding open auditions. Haunt monsters come in all different shapes, sizes, and ages. So don't think you're too small or too old to audition. If you want to be a part of the Halloween Haunt family and all are at least 16 years old, we want you to apply online to attend auditions on either of the following dates. So if you're interested, Dorney Park is actually looking for people to basically they can hire to do these haunted things they do, haunted, I want to say tours, whatever. Just to be like, I guess, ghost, I'll read that too. But it says open auditions Monday through Thursday, 2 to 7 p.m., Saturday through Sunday, 5 to 8 p.m. Before arrival, please print and complete the employment application online. We are looking to fill a wide variety of positions from mutants, demented clowns, creepy scarecrows, lurking pirates, ghosts, and other apparitions to lights, sound techs, makeup artists, and wardrobe personnel. That sounds pretty cool, actually. Halloween Haunt. That's at Dorney Park, though. I don't know how far that is. Not that I would actually do it. I'm just saying. Yeah, there's been a lot of articles on the passing away of Wes Craven. Yeah, he is going to be very missed. I'm sorry, but he will. A friend actually sent me, it's actually pretty funny. It's on my Facebook page, so thank you, Todd, for this. Break.com. A girl's Facebook photo accidentally shows family she owns a massive sex toy, and it's actually in the picture. Yeah, she does. It's a pretty funny picture. Thank you, Todd, for that one again. Finally, the downfall of updating your Facebook profile with everything, every little thing going on in your everyday life is finally happening. For one girl, a simple image of her hanging out with her friends turned extremely embarrassing when the photo revealed a massive double-fisted sex toy dangling in the background as if it was a winter scarf. Yes. So she actually had it. It is in the picture, too. Did she buy it as a joke? Is it for just a decoration? Does it matter? Because all of her Facebook friends and family coworkers and her family, as well as her coworkers, know she is clearly proud, the proud owner of this massive of this yet another reason. Well, I kind of cut it off, but basically this massive dildo, or sex toy. It's not even a dildo; it's a sex toy because it's got like two hands, so I don't know how else to put it. It is really rather entertaining, though. So anyway, I'm just trying to check this one thing out. I'll probably just put on my Facebook page. Something else about this girl dancing. See, they say it's pretty wild. But, yeah. I'll save that for later, because otherwise I'm not going to have time. She's really cute, too. Oh, and you know what? It was funny. I was going to mention this, and I think I will now. There was something I got, I guess, from one of these horror Facebook pages, and it had a poster up on it, too, so I put it on my Facebook page. And it says, the poster it's got a hot chick's ass on there. I spit on your grave, vengeance is mine, 3. So it's basically, I spit on your grave, part 3. And it's like, I know they remade the first one. Oh, yeah, and there's an article, too, on a separate thing. And I don't think I bothered to see the second one. The first one was, like, really violent, too. So I was just too afraid, honestly, to watch the second one on the remake. And now they're, like, making a third one, and they show, like, a still shot, and it does look pretty nasty. I mean, like, really gross. And it was iHorror.com, and it says, I spit on your grave, 3, vengeance is mine this October. Through remakes are the norm. Sorry about that. Let me reread that. Though remakes are the norm here in the horror genre, I admit to being somewhat surprised when the exploitation classic I Spit on Your Grave was remade back in 2010, which it was actually really good. It was just really violent. It came as even a more surprise when the remake spawned a sequel 3 years later, and now the Rape Revenge franchise became a trilogy. Via a press release, Anchor Bay Entertainment announced today that R.D. Bronstone, I Spit on Your Grave, 3, Vengeance is made its head, or is... Let me reread that. I really messed up. Basically, that Anchor Bay Entertainment announced today that I Spit on Your Grave 3 is heading our way in time for Halloween, slicing its way through a limited theater basically release on October 9th. So basically, it's going to be limited because it's just basically to promote the movie, so you can see it in the movie theaters if you're interested. Probably like these small movie houses, maybe even locally, because I have like around our house, we have the Regal Oaks, and I'm sure they're probably going to at least show it at least once around that time. So I'll have to see if I can buy a ticket. But it says the DVD and Blu-ray release will be on October 20th. So I'm going to have to actually look for that now, because I'd be kind of curious. It'd be neat to see a horror movie in the theaters, even though it'd probably make me want to bring a vomit bucket with me, because they are pretty gross. But it is kind of cool in the same sense. And by the way, I did put, since I'm in this Star Wars kick right now, I actually did put some Star Wars photos of some people that are diehard fans and make like those Stormtrooper costumes, which they are really cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to deny the fact that, yeah, they're cool. But so I got some of that stuff on my Facebook page right now too. Yeah, I guess this show is not as exciting because I'm not as worked up probably, but I have every reason to be though, because unfortunately I came into work and the girl that worked Sunday, her Mondays on Sunday, she really did. I hate to say it. I'm not even meaning to laugh, but you can't help it. But she did absolutely, obviously, because of one of these people that are technicians came up to me and actually admitted to it. He says, yeah, I try to get her to help get me some stuff when I need it for our lab. And she looked at him like a deer in the headlights. And like she had no clue what he was talking about. So basically, she did nothing on Sunday. Today, they did, her and her partner, her new partner, did barely nothing today. They did some work, but they made it out like they were working so hard, like they could barely get all the work done. They were forced, that was forced upon them. And it was like, I just kind of anymore, I have to ignore them because otherwise I will go, helter-skelter on these people at work because of the games I deal with on a daily basis. But, yeah, that one was, to say the least, was like they feed you these lines and they believe it, like our higher ups who feed you these lines about how they're so convinced that our company is going to be around, the one that I work up in Lansdale, that it's going to be around forever. Well, guess what? I'm lucky if it'll be around till the end of the year at this point. And I'm not even just saying that just because I just want to be negative and pessimistic, but it's the truth. I mean, you can't hide the truth. It's just a fact that unfortunately where I work is probably not going to be around for very much longer, just because, again, the way the people act and they just don't care, unfortunately. And it, it's a shame, but whatever. So, finally, I got something I could actually talk about besides what I've been talking about, because I'm going to have to end this soon anyway. But this caught my attention, and I'm going to open it up right now. It was on comicbookmovie.com, and it says, Michael Shannon seemingly confirms Doomsday will appear in Batman's versus Superman. And I don't like the way they're making Doomsday, by the way. I really do not like it at all. Because basically what they're going to do is they're changing, who is it? Zod, General Zod is going to become Doomsday. It makes no sense to me at all. And who's going to do it? Well, it's going to be Lex Luthor. That's even more kind of like way off track. A flustered Michael Shannon has attempted to talk his way out of those recent comments, which seem to indicate that he will be taken on some sort of motion capture role in Batman versus Superman. But in the process, it seems like he's confirmed that Doomsday will show up. Earlier this month, Michael Shannon told a funny story about getting trapped in a toilet on the set of Superman or Batman versus Superman because he had flippers over his hands. This obviously led to the speculation that he must be taken on a motion capture role as Doomsday, as he has rumored, or as he's been rumored in an interview with the Daily Beast. It's really awkward, an awkward situation. I'm in the trailer for the movie that I didn't work on. Shannon still hasn't seen the trailer, so obviously he's not aware of the fact where we've all seen him in the movie. He must have been on set to shoot those scenes as a corpse after all. So it says, instead, the actor has come up with a ludicrous claim, like fed to him by the studio, that he does not appear, but as a ghost. Basically, he's going to be a ghost. The thing is, though, the whole Krypton universe apparently is that even when you destroy them, there are ghosts. The first film, Jor-El is there, even though he's been dead for Lord knows how long. I went over and did some voiceover stuff because it's like that's the ghost thing. But I don't know. I'm supposed to say. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. I get very nervous. No, I get very nervous. None of the sounds even remotely are convincing, and it becomes even harder to believe when the actor attempts to explain away the story about the flippers. So he got cornered. They called him with flippers, and somehow they got out of that he's going to play Doomsday. I don't know. So it says, quote, somebody was asking me about in New York, and I made up some ridiculous bullshit answer about how the character Zod has flippers. Yeah, that's a new one. I honestly, by the way, before I go any further, I like the original, from the movies, I like the original General Zod in Superman 2 the best. I don't like these other ones. Anyway, it goes on to say, and this went viral on the internet or something, and people have been asking me about that. That is so obvious, a complete bullshit story, right? But, it says basically, that's a complete bullshit story, right? But people took it seriously. If you want to read the botched up story, it's on comicbook.com. It just went up, by the way. Okay, yeah, right. Anyway, here's where things get really interesting. The actor goes on to specifically mention Doomsday. It is said that in a jokey way, but in doing so, has Shannon confirmed that the role he's taken on. It's hard to say for sure, but it does appear to be getting mixed up between Zod and Doomsday during the this interview. So basically, he's trying to tell a lie, and he's like getting lost in his own lie, and he's actually, instead of telling a lie, he's actually spilling the truth. So I'd say it's certainly possible, maybe that, quote, maybe that they should add it. I don't know, but maybe in part 3, Doomsday will have flipper hands. I mean, look, nothing would make me happier than to work with Zack Snyder again. He's hysterical, and he's a lot of fun to work with. What do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts and thesis below. So, I don't know. I did see that before. I don't know about the whole flipper thing, though. They actually do have a picture that looks like a hand turning into some type of flipper. I assume that's what they're talking about. But, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see Doomsday, but seeing General Zod as Doomsday, I don't know if I could really buy that. No puns intended. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something on eBay right now. Star Wars DVD 2006 2-disc set limited edition, and it actually claims to have exclusive bonus material, including the 1977 theatrical version available for a limited time only. That's actually really hard to find. It's real hard to find. So I'm actually tempted to buy it because I actually would like to see it. 10 available. Limited edition, no. I might actually get it. I don't know. I am so much debt, I can't get any more debt. So, I can get into more debt, but I'm just saying. And the prices on Amazon, I actually checked tonight, are not much better. So it's like $24. Yeah, I know, for one movie. It's just it's neat. I know. Wasting money, Walter, wasting money. Well, you know what? When I go on welfare, it won't be a problem anymore, right? Yeah, so I'm not sure if I can say much more. I'm just trying to, like, in case there's something, it always, like, when I'm ready to say, okay, you know, I'm ready to, like, sign off for the night, there's always something that, like, kind of hits my interest, you know, that seems interesting. Okay, I might have actually found one of those stories. This was on The Reporter, and this is for Lansdale, actually, believe it or not. Speedball Lansdale man faces jail. Norristown, a Lansdale man who police found unresponsive behind the wheel of a running pickup truck in the traffic lane in Hatfield has admitted that he was driving under influence of alcohol, heroin, and cocaine at the time. Clint John Hawkins, 32, of the 600 block of North Broad Street, was sentenced in Montgomery County Court to 90 days to 5 years in the county jail after he had pleaded guilty to charges of driving under the influence of a combination of drugs and alcohol in connection with the June 2011 accident in Hatfield. The conviction represented Hawkins' second DUI conviction according to the court's records. He was essentially speedballing, would be, I guess, the term to use, would be the term for it, because he had coke in his system, he had heroin in his system, and he also had the amount of alcohol in his system, said Assistant District Attorney Scott Frame. Quote, that's what caused him to pass out at the wheel. Then that was another quote, says, death is the most immediate danger that could come out of that, obviously, if he put everybody else, but he also put everybody else at risk on the road that night. So, yeah, he was speedballing, they call it. I never even heard of it. I think I did. I don't know. I don't do drugs, so how do I know? Yeah, so. Oh, this is a pretty cool story. Maybe I'll read this. It was on Stan Lee's. I always like some story to kind of counteract the bad stories I read. This is on Stan Lee's website, so that's therealstanlee.com. And it says, Hugh Jackman surprised a young X-Men fan, and it was adorable. So that's really cool. Hey, I needed that. Dominic, a 9-year-old boy from Australia, was with cystic fibrosis, who loves Wolverine. And what's not to love? Wolverine is certainly one of the most iconic members of the X-Men, and his healing powers are the best possible healthcare in the world. Dude, this is breaking me up now, folks. So Hugh Jackman, better known as Wolverine, did what any self-respecting superhero would do, and he set up a very special surprise with the Make-A-Wish Foundation for his biggest fan. The host of the radio show on Kiss 1065 were interviewing Dominic, not Dominique, about his favorite member of the X-Men when they asked the 9-year-old if he wanted actually to chat with Jackman. The host gave the actor a call, telling Dominic that he was off on set somewhere. The young fan asked Jackman what his favorite Wolverine pose was, and Jackman actually came through the door, to show him. That is really cool. The actor then gave Dominic a hug that would have melted Iceman's heart. That is really cool. Sorry, I'm kind of getting emotional now. So I needed something like that good. So thank you for that. Okay, I got some crap now downloaded to my system. But yeah, that was very, very cool. That's where I should probably maybe leave my show off tonight. But I'm just going to double check just in case, because you never know. There could always be another story around the corner that I seem to have missed. But that was really good. I like that one on Hugh Jackman. So, that being said, folks, I hope you enjoy my show. I hope you didn't mind my Bable Talk tonight. And maybe, yes, I will sign off at this point because it's almost 4:30. So, everyone, I hope you enjoy my show. Have a good morning. It is Tuesday. It's 4:17 my time and AM on this beginning of a new month, September 1st. So, have a good one. I am signing off.